Today on CityCast Denver, it's a new year, and Denver has big things on the horizon, like a new mayor we have yet to vote for and a downtown in need of some serious help, or maybe just some good publicity. Anyway, we wanted to get some advice to guide us into 2023, so I called up the best tarot reader I know to give us the inside scoop on the city's future. Today is Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023. I'm Bree Davies, and this is CityCast Denver. Lady Speech, welcome to CityCast Denver.
Thank you. It is good to be here.
So I got in touch with you because we've worked together so much over the years, and you're like one of my favorite tarot readers in the universe. And I wanted to do something fun to kick off the new year by getting a 3-card spread. And that means I'm going to have you pull 3 tarot cards to answer 3 specific questions about what is in store for Denver's future.
Yes.
And you and I, we grew up here. I know you have a feeling for what this city is as an entity. So I thought you're the perfect person to do this with.
I love it.
So let's start. Denver is electing a new mayor in April after 3 terms with Michael Hancock. Let's pull a card because I would love to know what we can expect from that big election.
All right. Well, first and foremost, I wanted to let you know that we're going to be working with the Light Seers Tarot today. And let's get right into the 3-card spread. So first and foremost, we have got the 5 of Swords, which is coming up reversed. All right. What this is all I can really say is this is about to be a dirty election. This is about to be a dirty election, baby. There's going to be a lot of trash left behind due to the regime that is leaving. There is a lot of trash to clean up. It is similar to when Trump left office. There was a lot of things that were just unresolved. And it's going to be very important that folks read the facts and do not take into account the emotions, take into account how you feel. But please understand that how you feel is what is being preyed on, and it's what's being played on. There's going to be lots of deceit. And it's politics. It happens all the time, but we're not in a good place. Nobody across the space is in a good space. And because of the amount of disconnection from what Denver's leadership now is woefully and painfully disconnected. This is going to be dirty. The election's going to be dirty. Congratulations to whoever's about to win, but they've got a lot of work to do. And there's a lot of places where they're just going to fall short. Their agenda, no matter whose agenda this is coming in, half the things that they're promising ain't going to get done because there's a whole lot of cleanup that has to happen. There's a whole lot of cleanup. There's a mess of things that needs to be cleaned up. So that's naturally where their focus is going to be.
I think that's helpful because we've got 23 folks running for mayor. So we need to really look for the folks that look beyond how we feel about them and look at what they're actually promising going into this if they're elected.
Yes, and that's what's going to be the dirty part about it, because there are good people who are qualified, who've got really good plans, and they're not focused on being bastards. They're focused on trying to get the message out, trying to do what they do. However, there are people who want it just as much, if not more, who are not dedicated to community, who are not dedicated to helping. So it's really important that vet everybody, go through it and take into account your emotions, but don't let that rule you.
Okay. And you mentioned that card showed up in reverse. Can you explain what reverse means?
So when the cards show up to reverse in traditional tarot, that usually speaks to the shadow aspect of things. It usually speaks to the undercover aspects of things. So upright really speaks to more of the positive or the joyous or the affirmative aspects of life. And then when you get the cards reversed, it just speaks to the underbelly and it speaks to the shadow of life. What this is telling me is that this could still be a positive year. It's all depending on how you lean into it. This is a year where a lot of the dirt and the shadow is going to rise, or we're going to see behind the scenes in a lot where people's BS is just going to be your trash is showing and we're going to go through it. So depending on how folks lean into it, if we lean into it and we clean it up, and we address it and we address the poisonous things in there, it's going to be okay. And actually, that's going to be a really great space to launch from. That's going to be a really beautiful space to really rebuild from. However, this is the year. If these things don't start happening, it's going to it's going to set a tone. And that tone's going to be around for the next few years. So like, this is one of those spaces where it needs to happen, where a lot of the dirt, a lot of the muck and the mire, like we're going to get to the bottom of that this year. And it's depending on, again, how we lean into it. Are we going to clean it up or are we going to wallow in it?
This episode is brought to you by the How to Buy a Home podcast. Oh, you know, I was just looking at multi-million-dollar listings in other neighborhoods late last night. Belcaro had some really beautiful houses. You could put my whole house in their living room kind of size. I'm really debating on the pool. Do you really want a pool in Colorado? That's why I keep recommending the How to Buy a Home podcast. Host David Sidoni has been the undisputed first-time homebuyer authority since 2005. And he has helped so many listeners close on houses they thought were impossible, even as things went nuts in the last couple of years. David can guide you through next steps that are right for you, whether you're planning to buy a home now or 5 years from now. The maintenance on a pool reminds me of like people that have an aquarium. That's a lot of work for a minimal amount of return. 2023 is a new year. Start it off right at howtobuyahome.com and make this the last year you rent. Find How to Buy a Home on YouTube and wherever you listen to podcasts. So the next card I'd like for us to pull for is more about our economic health. Downtown is still quiet. Folks are not coming back. Restaurants are struggling. Tech companies are looking at layoffs. And downtown in general is a source of a lot of strife for the city. And part of this has to do with the housing crisis. So what is our economic outlook? What should we be thinking about moving into 2023?
It is all about community. We got the 10 of Cups and it's coming up reversed as well, which is all about disharmony and miscommunication. All right. Listen, the big companies are trying to save themselves. It's every man for themselves right now. And that is what's digging the hole deeper. Smaller businesses are going to, number one, think outside of the box and think about community focusing, a lot more guerrilla tactics, a lot more centering yourself in the community and working together. Co-ops between these smaller businesses, between these restaurants have to happen or not. But if not, like, it's going to continue to look like exactly what it's looking like. Like, there's this reversal, the big folks who have everything to do with everything, they're not doing anything about it. And especially because there is new leadership moving in, folks got to figure out who they got to buy. Folks are figuring out who they can bribe, all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a little precarious for a second. But also, this is about community. When we look at this card, there are people who are together. Like, there are two people who are together. They are side by side. Their arms are around each other, and they're watching the next generation flourish. That's not happening because of there's no togetherness. There's no plans being made for 2 years from now, 1 year from now. And that's exactly why we're in the situation as it is. So any hope is going to have to be community centered. And it's going to be about caring for the community. It's going to be about us understanding what the houselessness situation is and us coming up with solutions that are viable and that can be addressed. So downtown's still going to be a struggle for a minute. It is really going to take more cooperation. It's going to take more interdependence. It's going to take like working together. I feel like there's going to be a come up more towards next winter. It's going to be next fall, next winter. That's when some light is about to be shown. Things are going to get shaken up during the summer, but like you're going to start seeing more movement towards prosperity and abundance in the fall towards the winter.
Okay. My last question is, the art scene is kind of all over the place. We've got a lot of energy and money going into these quote unquote immersive experiences. Big productions are coming through Denver, but so many artists are still struggling. What can we expect when it comes to the arts in Denver in 2023?
We've got the Ace of Wands, and that's coming up reversed as well. This is literally about creative blocks and unease. The little people need to be taken care of. The OGs in the community need to be taken care of. We need to be looking at in the scenes from hip hop and rap to poetry. Who are some of the trailblazers? Who are some of the community pillars? And supporting them on some of the things that they need to do and to be. Also, like the mental health of the artist is not well. We've watched a lot of big name people get money, get funding, but there are people who are on the ground who've been doing this work, who have viable projects, who have ideas that are amazing, that are being passed all the way over. Again, like part of this is, and what Denver, what Colorado is going to have to do is like, there's been such this big city movement that's happened for Colorado. Some of the old school charm of Colorado was that it was a mix of both. You could have that big city energy, but also get lost in a small town sensation. You can be wrapped up in like the clicks that you made, the things, it can feel like that small town community that needs to be rebuilt.
So something that I think about with tarot, and I think you're good at talking about this, is even when the card is dire, even when it seems like it's the worst, that shadow work means we just have to dig into the hard. We have to get into the dark. That sounds like our spread this year is getting into the dirt and the dark, digging out, and also like just looking at what people are really saying, listening to community, and figuring out how community can be a part of this bigger shift for Denver to get out of this dark space.
That's what it is. It's really cleaning out and that's what we're being tasked with, is going through and refreshing the garden. Sometimes you got to dig it up. You know, a garden being in the same place for a while, you got to shift that soil. You have to add new soil. You have to take out debris. You know, sometimes you just garden so much, it's that soil's done. So you need to like refresh it. And that's where we're at.
So we got to do something new.
Yeah, we have to do something new. And there's an energy that is there, and it's going to be a collaboration. The youth do not have the experience in order to direct this in the way that it needs to be directed. However, they have the drive, the passion, and the vision and the energy.
Yeah, what can we do differently, or what can we fix? What can we change? What can the next generation of Denver look like? Lady Speech, thank you so much.
You're welcome so much. Thank you. This was so awesome.
That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. If you enjoyed the show, why not take a minute to tell your favorite astrologer about us? Rate the show wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe to our morning newsletter, Hey Denver, by texting Denver to 66866. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye-bye. All right. We're done. It is the new year.